The emergency lights in the Galactic Council chamber pulsed red for the first time in 3,000 years. Ambassador Jin-Soo Park sat in the human delegation's seat and watched alien representatives panic in 17 different languages. Some waved tentacles. Others clicked mandibles. A few just stared with too many eyes. The massive holographic display at the chamber's center showed the problem. A dark void spread across the star map like spilled ink. Where stars had been, nothing remained. Not even empty space. Just absence. The phenomenon has consumed 47 star systems in the past rotation, the Zenthari High Scientist announced. Her scales had gone pale with fear. Projections indicate cascade acceleration. At current rates, the entire Orion arm will be affected within 6 standard months. Jin-Soo leaned forward. Humanity had joined the Galactic Council only 3 years ago. They were still the new kids, still learning the rules. But even new kids could see when the adults were losing control. What's causing it? Jin-Soo asked. The High Scientist's translator struggled with the technical terms that followed. Something about quantum fabric degradation and reality matrix collapse. Jin-Soo understood about half of it. The important part was clear enough. They didn't know how to stop it. All major species have committed resources to evacuation efforts, the council chair said. The Vexian leader's voice carried the weight of someone who knew they were managing a disaster, not solving it. Humanity's fleet, though small, would be welcome assistance. Of course, Jin-Soo said. We'll help however we can. He paused. But first, what are we calling this thing? Silence fell across the chamber. 300 alien faces turned toward the human delegation. Calling it. The Zenthari High Scientist repeated. The name, Jin-Soo said. You know, what we're going to call it when we talk about it. The phenomenon. The void. The whatever it is. The High Scientist consulted her datapad. The official designation is Cascading Universal Entropy Event Classification Omega-7. Jin-Soo blinked. That's a lot of words. It is a precise scientific designation, the High Scientist said stiffly. Right. But that's like 15 syllables. Nobody's going to say all that every time. Jin-Soo pulled out his tablet and started typing. Cascading Universal Entropy Event Classification Omega. Okay. So the acronym would be CUECO7? Omega. If you must use abbreviated form, yes, the High Scientist said. Jin-Soo looked at the other human delegates. They were already grinning. He could see them silently mouthing the word. So, Quaco. We're being chased by something called Quaco. This is not a matter for levity. The Zenthari High Scientist's scales flushed dark. We are discussing the end of galactic civilization. I know, Jin-Soo said. That's exactly why we need to call it something. Humans need names for things. Especially bad things. We can't fight what we can't name. The council chair made a gesture that might have been confusion. You may refer to it however you wish in your own languages. The official council designation will remain unchanged. 1. Jin-Soo nodded and sat back. The meeting continued for another 3 hours. Evacuation routes. Resource allocation. Fleet coordination. All the logistics of running away from the end of everything. But Jin-Soo noticed that other delegates kept glancing at the human section. Every time someone said, Cascading, Universal, Entropy Event Classification, Omega-7. It took 5 seconds. Every time a human whispered, Quaco, it took half a second. By the end of the meeting, even some of the aliens were starting to say, the Quaco event. 2 days later, Jin-Soo returned to the council chamber for a coordination meeting. He arrived early and found the Zenthari High Scientist already there, reviewing data. Ambassador Park, she said. I wanted to discuss your species' approach to this crisis. Of course, Jin-Soo said. Your human networks have been very active. She pulled up a holographic display. It showed the human section of the Galactic Communication Network. Thousands of posts, articles, and videos all flowing in real time. You are calling the phenomenon the munch. Jinsu looked at the display. Sure enough, the top trending topic across human space was number the munch. Someone had created an animated image of a cartoon mouth eating stars. It had been shared 80 million times. Ah, Jinsu said. Yeah, I saw that this morning. Why? The high scientist demanded. The munch, as if it were some sort of eating creature. It is a fundamental breakdown of physical law. Well, Jinsu said carefully, it does kind of eat things. It ate 47 star systems. Someone said it munches on reality. The name stuck. This is precisely the lack of gravity I warned about. The high scientist's scales were flushing dark again. Your species treats existential catastrophe like entertainment. No, Jinsu said quietly. We treat it like something we can understand. Something we can face. You gave it a designation that sounds like a bad password. We gave it a name that sounds like a problem we can solve. By joking about it? By making it smaller than us, Jinsu said. Look, I get it. You're terrified. Every species in the council is terrified. The munch is huge and unstoppable and we're all going to die. That's what your scientists say, right? The high scientist said nothing. Humans have been facing extinction since before we invented fire, Jinsu continued. Ice ages, plagues, wars, asteroids. We've had a lot of practice staring at the end of the world, and we learned something important. If you treat the monster like a god, it wins before the fight even starts. But if you give it a stupid name, if you make jokes about it, suddenly it's not a god anymore. It's just Kevin from accounting who nobody likes. Kevin? The high scientist said. Or Chad, or Susan, or whatever. The point is, the name makes it manageable. Human, manageable. Jinsu pulled up his own datapad. Also, we've had 40,000 humans volunteer for research positions in the last 2 days. That's more than applied in the entire last year. You know why? The high scientist waited. Because they're not researching cascading universal entropy event classification Omega-7. They're studying the munch. One of those sounds like certain death. The other sounds like a problem with a solution. The high scientist looked at the display showing human networks. More memes were appearing. Jokes, songs, art. A whole culture building up around the end of everything. Your species is very strange, Ambassador Park. She said finally. Yeah. The council meeting started an hour later. The chair opened with the usual grim update. The phenomenon had accelerated. 53 more systems lost. The cascading universal entropy event classification Omega-7 continues to spread, the chair began. Just call it the munch, Jinsu interrupted. Everyone else is. The chair paused. Around the chamber, Jinsu saw aliens checking their translators, their datapads, their communication feeds. The name had spread far beyond human networks now. Very well, the chair said slowly. The munch continues to spread. We have 6 months, perhaps less, but Jinsu was already thinking about the 40,000 volunteers, about the jokes and the memes and the songs, about the way humans faced fear. They had named it. That was the first step. Now they just had to kill it. The Zenthari ambassador's scales turned almost white with rage. She stood in the middle of the council chamber, holding up a piece of human clothing. The shirt was bright yellow with bold letters that read, I survived the munch, so far. This, she shouted, shaking the shirt. This is what humans are doing while the galaxy burns. Jinsu Park kept his face neutral. He had seen the shirt. In fact, he owned 3 of them. One was in his laundry right now. Where did you get that? The Vexian council chair asked. The gift shop. the Zenthari ambassador said. The gift shop, in this very building. They are selling apocalypse merchandise. Jinsu coughed. To be fair, all proceeds go to the evacuation fund. That is not the point. The Zenthari threw the shirt onto the floor. Your species has been members of this council for 3 years. In 1 week, you have reduced the end of civilization to a joke. There are songs. There are cartoon images. There are organized groups calling themselves the Munch Squad, who wear matching clothing. The Munch Squad volunteers have processed 12,000 evacuation requests this week, Jinsu pointed out. That's more than any other volunteer organization. While wearing shirts that mock our doom, the council chair raised a hand. Perhaps we could discuss this more calmly. Ambassador Park, I must admit that your species' response to the crisis has been unusual. Many council members are concerned about the psychological impact of treating the Munch so casually. Jinsu stood up. He had prepared for this. With respect, I'd like to invite Dr. Sarah Chen to address the council. She's a human psychologist who specializes in trauma response. The council chair nodded. A moment later, a hologram appeared beside Jinsu. Dr. Chen was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She looked at the assembled aliens, without any visible fear. Thank you for hearing me, Dr. Chen said. I understand you're concerned about humanity's response to the Munch. You think we're not taking it seriously, are you? The Zenthari ambassador demanded. Absolutely, Dr. Chen said. But we're taking it seriously, in a human way. Let me explain something about my species. When humans face overwhelming trauma, something we cannot control or fight in traditional ways, we have a defense mechanism. We make it smaller through humor. She pulled up a hologram showing historical human data. When a plague killed a third of Europe, humans created art and songs about dancing with death. When nuclear weapons threatened to end our civilization, we made dark jokes about it. When the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was discovered, we named it after the place it hit and made children's toys about dinosaurs. This is how we survive. Things that should break us. By being disrespectful? The Zenthari asked. By refusing to give fear total power over us, Dr. Chen said. The Munch is terrifying. It's going to kill billions, maybe trillions. But if we treat it with the proper fear and respect that it deserves, we'll be paralyzed. We won't be able to think clearly. We won't be able to act. So instead, we make it small. We give it a silly name. We make jokes. And then, with the fear managed, we can actually do something about it. The council chamber was quiet. Dr. Chen continued. Since humans started treating the Munch casually, our research applications have increased by 3,000%. Our volunteer numbers are the highest in recorded history. People aren't running away from the problem. They're running toward it. Because we took away its power to freeze us in fear. The Zenthari ambassador sat down slowly. This is truly how your species functions? It's how we survived on Earth, Dr. Chen said. Our planet tried to kill us every day for 200,000 years. If we had treated every threat with proper respect, we would have spent all our time being terrified. Instead, we learned to laugh at death. It's our species' greatest weapon. After the meeting, Jinsu found Dr. Chen in one of the station's observation lounges. She was looking out at the stars, holding a cup of coffee. That went well, Jinsu said. Did it? Dr. Chen asked. Half of them think we're insane. The other half are buying shirts, Jinsu said. He sat down beside her. I saw a Dulcari wearing a Munch Squad pin this morning. Dr. Chen smiled. It's spreading. That's good. They need to stop being afraid. There's something else, Jinsu said. He pulled out his datapad. I got a message from the research division. A human grad student made a discovery. Oh? Kid named Marcus Lee. He's 24, working on his doctorate in quantum physics. He was studying the Munch's behavior patterns. Jin-Soo pulled up a data display. He was making jokes with his team about how the munch needs antacids, something about indigestion, just goofing around to deal with the stress. And he noticed something. The munch doesn't just spread randomly. It has a pattern. It moves toward areas with high population density first. Specifically, it moves toward areas where there's high communication traffic about the munch itself. Dr. Chen set down her coffee. Say that again. It moves toward places where people are talking about it, thinking about it, broadcasting about it. The more attention the munch gets, the faster it grows in that direction. That's not how natural phenomena work, Dr. Chen said slowly. No, Jin-Soo agreed. They sat in silence for a moment. Outside the window, stars gleamed peacefully. Somewhere, out there, the munch was eating them one by one. If it responds to attention, Dr. Chen said, if it feeds on awareness, then it's not a natural disaster, Jin-Soo finished. It's a weapon. An old one. Maybe a dead one. But a weapon designed to spread through fear and attention. And every species in the galaxy has been feeding it, Dr. Chen whispered. All the council meetings, all the emergency broadcasts, all the formal scientific designation and constant monitoring. We've been making it stronger, Jin-Soo nodded. Marcus made the discovery because he was the only one who wasn't afraid to look closely at the munch. Everyone else was too terrified to study it properly. They'd look at the data and see death. Marcus looked at the data and saw indigestion. We need to tell the council. We will, Jin-Soo said. But I don't think they're going to like what we have to say next. Which is, Jin-Soo pulled up another display. It showed human-controlled space. The munch was approaching the outer colonies, but its movement had slowed. Not much, but enough to measure. Marcus's theory explains something else, Jin-Soo said. The munch is slower in human space. Not by much, but it's measurable. And the difference started exactly when we began making fun of it. Dr. Chen stared at the display. You're saying that by mocking it, by refusing to give it proper fear and attention, we've been starving it. Maybe, Jin-Soo said. Or maybe we've just been confusing it. Either way, the pattern is clear. Fear feeds it. Humor might hurt it. The council will never believe us. Dr. Chen said. Probably not, Jin-Soo agreed. Which is why we need to prove it. And to prove it, we need to do something really stupid. How stupid? Jin-Soo smiled. It was not a happy smile. We need to make the entire galaxy laugh at the end of the world. And we need to do it before the munch reaches the core systems. Dr. Chen looked at him for a long moment. Then she picked up her coffee and took a drink. Well, she said, humans have done stupider things and survived. Barely. That's the spirit, Jin-Soo said. Outside the window, the stars continued to shine. But Jin-Soo knew that somewhere in the dark between them, the munch was moving, growing, feeding on fear. It was time to change the menu. Marcus Lee stood before the Galactic Council and tried not to throw up. The grad student had given presentations before, but never to 300 alien species, who were all staring at him like he held the key to survival. Which, maybe he did. So, Marcus said, pulling up his first slide, we've been calling our investigation Operation Give It Tums, which, I know sounds weird, but the name helped us think differently about the problem. The Zenthari high scientist made a noise that Marcus's translator interpreted as a sigh. Proceed. Right. So, the munch. Marcus highlighted the void on the star map. Everyone's been treating it like a natural disaster, like a space earthquake or a cosmic storm. But it's not. It's technology. Silence fell across the chamber. Marcus swallowed and continued. See, natural phenomena don't care about population density. They don't speed up based on communication traffic. But the munch does. It moves faster toward places where lots of beings are thinking about it, talking about it, being afraid of it. He pulled up his data charts. I mapped the spread pattern against galactic communication networks. Perfect correlation. 97%. Match. The council chair leaned forward. You're saying the munch is artificial? Was artificial, Marcus corrected. We think it was created millions of years ago. Maybe billions. We found traces of quantum programming in the void structure. Whoever made it is long dead. But the weapon they left behind is still working exactly as designed. A weapon that feeds on fear, Jin-Soo Park said from his seat. He had coached Marcus through this presentation 3 times. Now he helped guide it forward. That's what you discovered. Correct? Yes, sir, Marcus said. He felt more confident now. The munch is basically a psychic weapon. It reads collective consciousness, finds concentrations of awareness and fear, and grows toward them. The more scared people are, the more they talk about it, the stronger it gets. It's been eating galaxies for millions of years, probably. Moving from civilization to civilization, feeding on their panic. The Zenthari high scientist had gone completely pale. Then everything we have done has been making it worse, Marcus said. Sorry. Every council meeting, every emergency broadcast, every formal designation and scientific study. You've all been feeding it exactly what it wants. High quality, concentrated fear from billions of beings. This is insane, the Dulcari representative said. Are you saying we should simply ignore the end of civilization? No, Dr. Sarah Chen said, standing up. We're saying fear is the problem, not the solution. And humanity accidentally stumbled onto the cure. She pulled up the data Marcus had shown Jin-Soo. Look at human space. The munch is slower there. Not by much, but enough to measure. It started slowing down exactly when humans started making fun of it. When we gave it silly names, and made memes, and wore t-shirts. By refusing to give the munch proper fear and attention, Jin-Soo said, we've been starving it. Not enough to stop it, but enough to slow it down. If we could get the entire galaxy to do the same thing, you want 300 species to mock an existential threat? The Zenthari high scientist asked. To treat the end of everything as a joke? Yes, Jin-Soo said simply. It's that, or die afraid. The council chamber erupted. Half the delegates were shouting. The other half sat in shocked silence. Arguments broke out in a dozen languages. Someone accused humanity of insanity. Someone else accused them of trying to kill everyone through stupidity. The council chair called for order. It took 10 minutes to get control back. When the chamber finally quieted, the chair spoke carefully. This is a significant claim, Ambassador Park. You're asking us to completely reverse our approach to the crisis. To tell our people to laugh at death itself. I'm asking you to let them live, Jin-Soo said. Fear is killing us faster than the munch ever could. If we stay afraid, we're already dead. But if we fight back with mockery, with humor, with absolute refusal to give this thing the respect it demands, maybe we have a chance. This is madness, the Zenthari high scientist said. Yeah, Marcus spoke up. It really is, but it's the only madness that's working. I've got 300 researchers studying the munch now. You know what the other galactic research teams have? Maybe 50 people total. Everyone else is too scared to look at it. Meanwhile, humans are giving it nicknames and taking selfies with the void in the background. And we're learning things nobody else dared to discover. The chair looked around the chamber. We must vote on this. The proposal is to officially endorse humanity's psychological approach to the munch, to encourage all species to treat the phenomenon with humor rather than fear. Those in favor? The vote was almost exactly split. 147 for, 146 against, 7 abstentions. The motion fails, the chair said. A clear majority is required for such a radical change in policy. Jin-Soo nodded slowly. He had expected this. Then humanity will proceed alone. With respect to this council, we're going to save ourselves our own way. Any species that wants to join us is welcome. You'll doom yourself, the Zenthari high scientist said. The Munch is approaching human space. In 2 months, it will reach your outer colonies. You cannot fight it alone. We're not fighting it, Jinsu said. We're ignoring it to death. There's a difference. That night, Jinsu sat in his quarters and prepared the broadcast. Every human in the galaxy would see this. Maybe some aliens too, if they were curious enough to watch. Dr. Chen sat across from him, reviewing the script. Are you sure about this? She asked. No, Jinsu admitted. But Marcus's data is solid. The Munch feeds on fear. We've proven that. And it's weaker where we mock it. That's proven too. So either we're right, and we save the galaxy, or we're wrong, and we die laughing. Either way, it's better than dying scared. Very philosophical, Dr. Chen said. I'm a diplomat, Jinsu said. Philosophy is half my job. The other half is convincing people to do things they think are crazy. He stood up and straightened his jacket. Ready? After the no. After the no, Jinsu said. After the no, give you a zindation, Jinsu said. After the no, Jinsu said. Ready. The broadcast went live across all human networks. Jinsu looked into the camera and spoke clearly. Hello, humanity. By now you've all heard about the Munch. The void that's eating the galaxy. The unstoppable force that's going to kill us all. Well, I've got some good news and some bad news. He smiled. It was important to smile. Humans responded to confidence. The bad news is that the Munch is actually an ancient weapon designed to feed on fear. Every time we get scared of it, we make it stronger. The good news is that every time we make fun of it, we make it weaker. Jinsu held up a piece of paper. Written on it in big letters was a single word. Kevin. We're renaming the Munch. From now on, it's Kevin. Just Kevin. Because ancient psychic weapons designed to eat reality don't get scary names. They get boring, everyday names that make them small and manageable. So starting right now, I want every human in the galaxy to refer to it as Kevin. Make jokes about Kevin. Mock Kevin. Tell Kevin to go away, because nobody likes him. Treat Kevin like that annoying guy from work who nobody invites to parties. He leaned closer to the camera. The Galactic Council thinks we're insane. They might be right. But we've got 2 months before Kevin reaches our space. 2 months to prove that humanity's greatest weapon isn't technology or strength. It's our complete inability to take existential threats seriously. So let's give Kevin the welcome he deserves. Let's make him wish he had never heard of humanity. Jinsu ended the broadcast. For a moment, he and Dr. Chen sat in silence. Kevin? Dr. Chen said finally. It was between Kevin and Chad, Jinsu said. Kevin felt more annoying. Fair enough. Within an hour, the human networks were flooded with Kevin content. Memes, jokes, songs, videos of humans telling Kevin to go away. Art showing Kevin as a sad cloud, being chased off by laughing people. Within a day, some alien species started joining in. The Dulcari, a few Vexian colonies, even some brave Zenthari. Within a week, Kevin was trending across the entire galactic network. The most popular post was a simple image of the void with text that read, Kevin was an average apocalypse. 2 stars out of 5. Would not recommend. Every 3. In Duxus. 2. And in deep space. For the first time in millions of years, the weapon that had eaten countless civilizations began to hesitate. It had consumed galaxies. It had ended 1,000 species, but it had never encountered anything like humanity before. Kevin was learning what happened when fear died, and he was discovering that he didn't like it at all. The Zenthari high scientist stood in her laboratory and watched something impossible. The holographic display showed Kevin's boundary at the edge of human space. According to every model, every projection, every law of physics she understood, the void should be growing. Instead, it was shrinking. "This cannot be accurate," she said to her research team. "We've checked them 11 times," her assistant said. "The readings are correct. Kevin is retracting in sectors with high human activity. Not fast, but measurably. In some areas, it has pulled back by almost 3 light years." The high scientist pulled up the galactic communication networks. The human section was on fire with activity. Someone had organized Roast Kevin comedy specials. Every major human entertainment channel was running them simultaneously. She watched a human comedian on stage, speaking to thousands of laughing faces. "So Kevin walks into a bar," the comedian said. "And the bartender says, 'Sorry, we don't serve existential voids here.' And Kevin says, 'That's okay. I wasn't planning to stay long anyway.' Because that's Kevin for you. Showing up uninvited, eating all the stars, and leaving without even helping clean up." The audience laughed. Thousands of humans, looking at certain death, and laughing. The high scientist felt something she had never experienced before. Not quite understanding, but maybe the beginning of it. Her communicator chimed. Ambassador Park wanted to speak with her. She accepted the call. "Ambassador," she said, "I have been reviewing the data." "And?" Jinsu asked. He looked tired but hopeful. "Kevin is shrinking in human-controlled regions," the high scientist admitted. "I do not understand how. But the data is clear. Your approach is working." "It's working everywhere. Humans are mocking Kevin aggressively," Jinsu said. "But there's a problem. Kevin is accelerating toward species that are still treating him with fear and proper scientific respect. The Kralax binary system just went dark. 2 billion Kralax. Gone in 6 hours." The high scientist felt her scales go cold. Because they were afraid. Because they did exactly what they thought they should do. They held emergency meetings. They broadcast warnings. They treated Kevin like the serious threat he is. And he ate them for it. Jinsu leaned forward. "We need everyone on board. Every species. Every world. This only works if the galaxy decides together to stop being afraid. Many species will never accept this," the high scientist said. "My own people are divided. Half mock Kevin as humans do. Half believe it is disrespectful to the dead. Both groups are angry with each other. Then we need to show them it works," Jinsu said. "We need proof that even the most skeptical species can't ignore." That evening, Jinsu made another galaxy-wide broadcast. This one wasn't just to humans. It was to everyone. "My name is Jinsu Park," he said. "I represent humanity on the Galactic Council. I'm speaking to every species, every world, every being who can hear this message. You have a choice to make. It's not an easy choice. It goes against everything you've been taught about showing respect to powerful things." He pulled up images of Kevin. The void. The darkness that had ended civilizations. This thing has been eating the galaxy for millions of years. Its ended species we'll never know about. Its eaten worlds we'll never see. And it's done it the same way every time. It shows up. Everyone gets scared. That fear makes it stronger. And it consumes everything. Jinsu's expression hardened. But humanity found its weakness. Kevin feeds on fear and attention. The proper, respectful, terrified attention that every intelligent species gives to existential threats. But he can't feed on mockery. He can't eat laughter, and he definitely can't survive being treated like that annoying coworker nobody invites to lunch. He pulled up the data showing Kevin's retreat in human space. This is real. Kevin is smaller, where we refuse to be afraid. He's dying where we laugh at him, and he's growing where species still treat him with the proper fear and respect. Jinsu looked directly into the camera. "So here's what I'm asking. For the next 72 hours, I want every being in the galaxy to make fun of Kevin. Tell jokes. Make art. Create songs. Treat him like he's nothing. Like he's a minor inconvenience. Like he's that guy at parties who tells boring stories and everyone avoids. Can you do that? Can you look at the end of everything and laugh? He paused. I know it's hard. I know it feels wrong. Every instinct you have says to show fear, to show respect, to treat deadly things seriously. But those instincts are exactly what Kevin was designed to exploit. So I'm asking you to go against every survival instinct you have. I'm asking you to trust humanity on this. Jinsu smiled. And if we're wrong? If this doesn't work? Well, at least we'll die laughing instead of crying. The broadcast ended. For a moment, the galaxy held its breath. Then, slowly, other species began to respond. The Dulcari were first. Their poet laureate published a piece called On the Profound Irritation of Kevin. It described Kevin as a minor spatial inconvenience, hardly worth mentioning, certainly not worth the fuss everyone makes about him. The poem went viral within hours. The Vexian Children's Entertainment Network produced a show called Kevin's Bad Day. It showed Kevin as a grumpy cloud who wanted everyone to be sad. But everywhere he went, people were too busy having fun to notice him. Young Vexians across the galaxy started singing the theme song. Even some Zenthari joined in. A famous Zenthari philosopher gave a lecture titled The Banality of Kevin. She argued that Kevin represented ultimate nihilism, and the only proper response to nihilism was to laugh at it and keep living anyway. Marcus Lee monitored the data from the research station. It's working, he called out to his team. Kevin's growth rate is slowing across the board. Not just in human space. Everywhere that species are mocking him. He's getting weaker. Dr. Chen stood beside him, watching the numbers. How much weaker? Hard to measure exactly, but I'm seeing growth rate decreases of 30 to 40% in sectors where mockery is high, and in some places. Marcus pulled up a new display. In some places, he's actually retreating. Where? The Dulcari homeworld. They've been broadcasting. Kevin is boring messages continuously for 8 hours. Kevin was 3 light years from their system. He's now 4 light years away. He's running from the laughter. Doctor, Chen felt tears in her eyes. Not sadness, relief. We might actually survive this. Maybe, Marcus said. But look at this. He pulled up another display. It showed Kevin's overall pattern. In most areas, he was shrinking or holding steady. But in one area, he was growing faster than ever before. He was accelerating, building speed and power. He was heading directly toward Earth. Dr. Chen's relief vanished. Oh no, he knows, Marcus said quietly. Kevin knows that humanity started this. We taught the galaxy to mock him. We took away his food source. And now he's going to punish us for it. Jin Su arrived at the research station 30 minutes later. He looked at the data showing Kevin's trajectory and nodded slowly. How long? 48 hours, Marcus said. Maybe less. He's moving faster than he ever has before. It's like he's pulling all his remaining strength into one final push. To destroy Earth, Jinsu said. To destroy the species that killed him. Dr. Chen corrected. Because make no mistake, we are killing him. The galaxy is laughing at Kevin, and every laugh makes him weaker, but he has enough strength left for one last attack. And he's going to use it to eat humanity's homeworld. Jinsu sat down heavily. 8 billion humans lived on Earth, humanity's birthplace, the world where they had learned to laugh at death, where they had developed the very stubbornness and humor that was now saving the galaxy. We need to evacuate, Marcus said. There's no time, Jinsu said. Even if we started right now, we couldn't get 8 billion people off Earth in 48 hours. Not even close. Then what do we do? Dr. Chen asked. Jinsu was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. It was a very human smile. Tired, determined, and just a little bit crazy. We throw Kevin a going-away party, Jinsu said. The biggest party in human history. We get every human on Earth, every human in space, every human anywhere. And we tell Kevin goodbye the only way humanity knows how. How? Marcus asked. By making fun of him until he dies, Jinsu said. Kevin wants to eat Earth? Fine. Let him try. But he's going to have to choke down 8 billion humans who absolutely refuse to be scared of him. All at once. All together. One planet-wide middle finger. To the concept of fear itself. Dr. Chen stared at him. You want to have a party? While Kevin destroys Earth. No, Jinsu said. I want to destroy Kevin by having a party on Earth. There's a difference. He stood up and headed toward the communications station. Get me every broadcast channel in human space. We've got 48 hours to teach 8 billion people how to laugh at death. Again. Outside the window, stars gleamed peacefully. But somewhere in the dark between them, Kevin was coming. Faster than ever before. Angrier than any weapon had ever been. He was coming to destroy the species that had dared to mock him. The species that had taught the galaxy to laugh. But Kevin had forgotten something important. Something every predator in Earth's history had learned the hard way. Humans were always most dangerous when you backed them into a corner. Sarah Martinez stood on the roof of her apartment building in Mexico City and watched the sky. The stars looked normal. Beautiful, even. But she knew what was coming. Everyone on Earth knew. Kevin was 12 hours away. Around her, neighbors gathered. Someone had brought speakers. Music played. Not sad music. Happy music. Dance music. The kind you played at parties when you wanted everyone to have a good time. This is crazy, Sarah's husband, Miguel, said. He held their daughter, Sophia, who was 4 years old, and didn't really understand what was happening. We should be in shelters. Underground. Somewhere safe. There is nowhere safe, Sarah said. Kevin eats everything. Shelters won't help. But this? She gestured to the growing crowd on the roof, at the music, at the laughter starting to build. This might. By having a party? By refusing to be afraid, Sarah said. She pulled out her phone and showed Miguel the message that had gone out to every human on Earth 6 hours ago. Jinsu Park's final broadcast. In 12 hours, Kevin will reach Earth. The message read. He's coming to destroy us because we dared to mock him. Because we taught the galaxy to laugh instead of cry. So here's what we're going to do. At exactly 2,100 hours, Universal Time, every human on Earth and in space will speak directly to Kevin. You can say whatever you want, but I'm asking you to tell him the same thing. Tell him to go away. Tell him nobody likes him. Tell him he's boring and annoying and we wish he'd just leave. 8 billion humans. One voice. One message. Let's show Kevin what happens when he messes with humanity. Miguel read the message twice. You really think this will work? I think it's the most human thing we've ever tried, Sarah said. And if it doesn't work, at least we tried. The crowd on the roof kept growing. Someone started projecting a countdown timer onto the side of the next building. 9 hours until Kevin arrived. The party was just getting started. In Beijing, 10,000 people gathered in Tiananmen Square. They had set up a stage. Comedians took turns performing. Every joke was about Kevin. How annoying he was. How boring. How he was like that relative who shows up to family dinners uninvited and eats all the food without helping clean up. The crowd laughed. Some people cried while they laughed. But they laughed anyway. In London, artists had covered entire buildings with murals of Kevin depicted as a sad, pathetic cloud being blown away by humans making faces at him. Children ran through the streets wearing Kevin masks and letting other children chase them away. In Lagos, a massive drum circle had formed, thousands of drums beating in rhythm. The beat was steady, strong, defiant. The kind of beat warriors used when they refused to surrender. In Mumbai, in Sao Paulo, in Cairo, in Sydney, in every city on Earth, the same scene repeated. Humans gathering, Humans laughing. Humans refusing to do what every other species in galactic history had done when faced with certain death. They refused to be afraid. The Galactic Council watched the broadcasts from Earth. The Zenthari High Scientist sat beside Jinsu Park in the council chamber. Most delegates had come to watch. Even the ones who thought humanity was insane wanted to see what would happen. Your people are remarkable, the High Scientist said quietly. Foolish, perhaps, but remarkable. We're very good at being foolishly remarkable, Jinsu agreed. He watched the timer counting down, 3 hours until Kevin reached Earth. Or remarkably foolish. I can never remember which. Do you believe this will work? The High Scientist asked. I believe that if it doesn't, at least we tried something new, Jinsu said. Every species Kevin has consumed went quietly. They ran. They hid. They died afraid. But humanity? Jinsu said. He smiled. We're going to die dancing if we die at all. Dr. Chen approached them. Marcus Lee was with her. Both looked exhausted, but determined. The data is incredible, Marcus said. Kevin's core is destabilizing. All the mockery from across the galaxy, it's been breaking down his fundamental structure. He's weaker than he's been in millions of years. But he's putting everything he has left into this attack on Earth. So this is his last chance, Jinsu said. And ours, Dr. Chen added. If Earth survives the next few hours, Kevin won't have enough power left to threaten anyone. He'll collapse completely. But if he consumes Earth, if he feeds on even a fraction of the fear from 8 billion humans, he might recover enough to keep going. Then we better not give him any fear to eat, Jinsu said. 1 hour until Kevin arrived. On Earth, the parties reached their peak. Sarah Martinez and her family stood with thousands of others on rooftops across Mexico City. The music was louder now, more defiant. Someone had started a chant. Kevin, go home. Nobody wants you. Kevin, go home. Nobody wants you. The chant spread. Building to building. City to city. Within minutes, millions of humans were chanting the same words, not screaming them in fear, singing them, mocking them, turning the end of the world into the world's biggest joke. Sophia tugged on Sarah's sleeve. Mama, who's Kevin? Sarah knelt down to her daughter's level. Kevin is someone who thinks he's very scary. But he's not. He's just annoying. And we're going to tell him to go away, okay? Like when Carlos tries to take my toys? Exactly like that, Sarah said, thinking of Sophia's pushy cousin. We're going to tell him no. He can't have our planet. And he needs to leave. Sophia nodded seriously. I'm good at that. Yes, you are, baby. 30 minutes until Kevin arrived. The void was visible now. Not with telescopes. With the naked eye. A patch of absolute darkness growing in the sky. Stars disappeared into it. The moon vanished behind it. It looked like the sky was being erased. Some people stopped laughing. Started crying. Started being afraid. But others kept going. Kept singing. Kept dancing. Kept refusing to give Kevin what he wanted. Jinsu Park stood on the observation deck of the orbital station and looked down at Earth. The entire night side of the planet was lit up with cities, with parties, with defiance. He had never been more proud of his species. His communicator chimed. It was time. He opened the channel to broadcast to every human, everywhere. This is Ambassador Jinsu Park, he said. Kevin has arrived. In 30 seconds, I want every human being to speak to him. Tell him what you think. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what humanity does to ancient weapons that try to eat our homeworld. He paused. On my mark. 3, 2, 1. Mark. 8 billion voices spoke at once. Some in person. Some through devices. Some in dozens of languages. But they all said variations of the same thing. Go away, Kevin. Nobody likes you, Kevin. You're boring, Kevin. Leave us alone, Kevin. You can't have our planet, Kevin. We're not afraid of you, Kevin. Sarah Martinez stood on her roof in Mexico City, holding her daughter, standing beside her husband, surrounded by neighbors and friends and strangers who had become friends through shared defiance. She looked up at the darkness in the sky and spoke clearly. Go away, Kevin. You're not welcome here. This is Earth. This is humanity's home. And you can't have it. Because we refuse to be afraid of you. We refuse to give you power. We refuse to let you win. Around her, thousands of voices said the same thing in hundreds of different ways. The collective mockery, the shared defiance, the absolute refusal to surrender to fear. And in space above Earth, something impossible happened. Kevin stopped. The void hung there in the sky, frozen. And then, slowly, it began to shrink. Not growing. Not advancing. Retreating. Marcus Lee stared at his instruments. It's working! Oh my God! It's actually working! Kevin's core is collapsing. The psychic feedback from 8 billion humans all mocking him at once. It's destroying his fundamental structure. The void grew smaller. Smaller. The darkness pulled back from Earth. Stars reappeared. The moon came back into view. And Kevin, the ancient weapon that had consumed countless civilizations, that had eaten galaxies, that had been unstoppable for millions of years, began to die. Not with a bang. With a whimper. With a sad little fade into nothing. Like a bully who finally realized nobody was afraid of him anymore. Sarah watched the darkness disappear from the sky. She felt Miguel's arms around her, felt Sophia pressed between them, heard the cheering starting to build from every rooftop in the city. Earth had survived. Humanity had survived. Not through superior weapons or technology, through sheer, stubborn refusal to be afraid. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates from 300 species were shouting, cheering, demanding to know what had just happened. The Zenthari high scientist stood frozen, staring at the displays showing Kevin's collapse. Impossible, she whispered. This is impossible. No, Jinsu said quietly beside her. Just improbable. There's a difference. He opened a channel to Earth. This is Ambassador Park. Kevin is gone. He's dead. You did it. Humanity faced down the end of everything, and won by refusing to blink first. I'm proud of every one of you. Get some rest. You earned it. The channel closed. Jinsu sat down heavily and realized he was shaking. Dr. Chen put a hand on his shoulder. We did it, she said. We actually did it. Humanity did it, Jinsu corrected. We just pointed them in the right direction. They did the rest. 2 weeks later, the Galactic Council held a formal session. Every delegate was present. The chamber was quiet as the council chair spoke. The phenomenon known as Kevin has been confirmed destroyed. Analysis of the remaining quantum signature suggests Ambassador Park's theory was correct. It was an ancient weapon designed to feed on fear, and humanity discovered its weakness where every other species failed. The chair paused. The council wishes to formally apologize to humanity for doubting your approach. You saved not just your own species, but every species in the galaxy. We are in your debt. Jinsu stood. No debt necessary. We did what humans do. We looked at certain death and decided it was more annoying than scary. That's not special. That's just human. Nevertheless, the chair continued. The council has voted unanimously to establish new protocols for existential threats. Protocol 1. Before any formal scientific designation, consult humanity for naming purposes. Protocol 2. When facing incomprehensible threats, apply humor before fear. Protocol 3. Never underestimate the power of mockery. The chamber filled with the sounds of agreement from 300 species. The Zenthari high scientist approached Jinsu after the meeting. You have changed the galaxy, Ambassador Park, she said. You have given us a weapon we never knew we had. Not a weapon, Jinsu said. A shield. Fear is the real enemy. Always has been. We just reminded everyone that you don't have to face fear on its own terms. 3 months later, sensors detected a new anomaly at the edge of the galaxy. Something strange. Something potentially threatening. Within hours, every species in the galaxy was watching, waiting to see how bad it would be. Jinsu received the first report and smiled. Before any scientist could issue a formal designation, before any panic could spread, he sent out a galaxy-wide message. New threat detected at Galactic Edge. Preliminary analysis suggests possible dimensional instability. Name assigned. Chad. Recommend immediate mockery. Humans will begin roasting Chad in approximately 2 hours. All species welcome to participate. Within a day, the galactic networks were full of Chad jokes, Chad memes, songs about how nobody invited Chad to the galaxy. Art depicting Chad as a confused blob, being laughed away by united galactic civilization. The anomaly stabilized, stopped growing, eventually faded. Just like Kevin, Chad couldn't survive mockery. Sarah Martinez sat on her roof in Mexico City 3 months after Kevin's death. Sophia played nearby. Miguel brought coffee. Life had returned to normal. Or as normal as life got after you faced down the apocalypse and won. Mama, Sophia said, if another scary thing comes, what do we do? Sarah smiled at her daughter. We laugh at it, baby. We give it a silly name. We tell it to go away. We refuse to be afraid. That's what humans do. Because we're brave? Because we're human, Sarah said. Which is better than brave. Brave means you're scared but do it anyway. Human means you make fear so small, it can't hurt you. Sophia nodded and went back to playing. Sarah looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was learning humanity's greatest lesson. Fear was the mind killer. But laughter was the fear killer. And as long as humans remembered how to laugh, nothing in the universe would ever be too terrible to face. Not even the end of everything. Not even Kevin, especially not Kevin.